From Recorded Future News and PRX, this is Click Here. Just a quick warning for listeners. There are sounds of explosions and gunfire in this story. When Charles Njoki landed in Moscow, he thought he'd finally crossed into a life he'd only dreamed about.
The moment I arrived at Moscow and seeing how advanced the city and the country is, I was really happy because I realized it's a dream come true.
The city moved fast. It seemed to be all glass towers, bright lights, and wide boulevards. It felt modern, confident, like a place where things worked. And for Charles, who'd come from Kenya chasing a job, it felt like the beginning of something. But the internet is very good at selling possibility. A message, a recruiter, a job posting that looks legit. And sometimes, by the time you realize what you've actually signed up for, you're already in too deep. From Recorded Future News and PRX, this is Click Here, a show about how technology is changing everything. I'm Dina Temple-Raston, and today, the evolution of the online scam economy. Fake job listings used to mean embarrassment, maybe stolen money, a compromised identity. Now, in some parts of the world, they can become something much, much darker. Stay with us. Charles was used to chasing work online. Back in Kenya, he was a photographer and videographer. Weddings, music videos, drone shots for whoever was hiring. And Charles was the kind of freelancer always refreshing his phone, hoping the next message might finally lead to something bigger. Then, one day, it did. A recruiter reached out about a drone job in Russia. And unlike a lot of online offers, this one kept moving. The recruiter kept responding, quickly, confidently. And when Charles sent over videos showing what he could do with a drone, the recruiter liked what he saw. And he said he had a position for someone who was so good at flying them. Though he was kind of vague as to what exactly the job would be.
They acknowledged and they loved what I was doing. So they just gave me an invitation. And I really was eager to join because seeing the number or the kind of money they were paying, I was really happy because I knew I'm going to change my life and my people back here at home.
To Charles, it didn't feel like some random internet job posting. It felt personal, like someone had finally noticed him. So he sold his car, bought a plane ticket, and told his family that he was finally getting his big break. Though not everyone thought the job sounded like such a great opportunity.
My wife began telling me, babe, I don't want you to go. I just want you to stay. I can remember even my son crying a lot, telling me, Dad, please don't go. Just stay here.
Charles went anyway. And when he landed in Moscow, he reached for his phone. The recruiter had promised to meet him there.
The customer you're trying to reach is not available.
No answer. He tried again. Still nothing.
I could not find him.
Right. He ghosted you.
Yes, he ghosted me. Like we never even met.
At first, Charles didn't think scam. He thought maybe the guy was late or asleep or stuck in traffic somewhere. The recruiter had given him an office address before he flew over. So the next morning, Charles decided to go there and see if he could sort everything out.
He gave me even the location. He gave me an app which I used to request a cab.
And even then, nothing about this felt completely fake. A little strange, maybe, a little improvised, but not fake. The office, when he found it, looked ordinary enough. People were already waiting for him. They had a contract ready, sitting out in the open. And weirdly, that reassured him. Because contracts feel official. They mean systems are in place. Someone knows who you are. But there was just one problem.
First of all, it was written in Russian. It's something I could not read. And I tried to talk to the people I found in that office. Tell them, hey, brother, I need to understand this thing.
There were just pages of dense Cyrillic text. But it was official looking, in exactly the way contracts are supposed to look. This contract is all standard, the office workers told him. Just paperwork.
They're telling me, brother, don't worry. We heard you are a drone operator. Just sign it, and then you'll just go and operate drones.
Even now, Charles can still picture that office. The fluorescent lights, the desk, the contract sitting in front of him. He was tired from traveling, jet-lagged, in a country where he didn't speak the language. By then, he'd already sold his car, told his family that his whole life was about to change. So turning around no longer felt possible. So Charles picked up the pen and signed a contract he couldn't read. At first, the decision didn't seem catastrophic. Nobody pulled a gun on him. Nobody shouted or threatened him. The process just continued. Charles stayed in Moscow for a few more days, and then they put him on a train to St. Petersburg, where they said they'd give him his assignment. The ride took hours. Charles barely remembers it, and by then, things seemed to be moving fast. Too fast. One car ride, then another, people giving directions he couldn't understand, doors opening, doors closing, and then there was a lot of waiting around. And slowly, the world around him started to feel less like contract work and more like something else, something military. There were men smoking outside concrete buildings, heavy bags stacked against walls, and everybody seemed to know where they were supposed to go except Charles. And then, one morning, Charles was summoned into one of those buildings.
I was taken to the barracks. When I'm inside the barracks, I was now given the uniforms.
Not camera equipment, not drone gear, military uniforms. And even then, Charles still thought he was there to fly drones, just in a different way than he'd expected.
So I knew I'm going to be operating a drone in the military.
To Charles, that still sounded like technical work, flying drones somewhere behind the lines, not carrying a rifle into a battlefield. And for a while, it actually seemed like things might work out the way he thought they were supposed to. One commander in particular seemed genuinely excited to meet him.
He asked me, "Are you from Africa?" I tell him, "Yes, I'm from Africa." And he said, wow, we've never had such people who can operate such drones. The guy was really happy. And he told me, now, wait, I'll tell you when you'll start now practicing. And
So Charles trained. He learned to assemble drones. And then one day, another soldier pulled him aside.
The Russian guy who met me some few days, and he told me, "Brother, do you know which you are in? When you're taken to the front, you're not going to come back."
Taken to the front? Not Moscow, not even Russia, Ukraine? Not behind the scenes, and maybe not even flying drones?
I was shocked. Why are you guys telling me to go at the front and fight? Yet I never come here to do that.
And the commander looked back at him and said,
"Have you signed the contract? If you signed the contract, then shut up your mouth and go and fight."
Charles had signed paperwork he couldn't read, and now he was starting to understand exactly what he'd agreed to. That's after the break. Stay with us. Just weeks after arriving in Russia, Charles found himself on the front lines in Ukraine. Not as a photographer, not as a drone operator, but as a soldier in a war he says he never agreed to fight.
let me tell you, to my shocking, I've never seen so many people dead. I saw a lot of dead bodies.
Back in Kenya, drones helped Charles imagine a future. In Ukraine, they hunted him through the trees.
The moment I heard the voice, I started running.
At first, it was just a faint buzzing above the forest canopy, easy to ignore, easy to mistake for something harmless. But then it started moving, closer, faster. The other soldiers opened fire in the direction of the noise.
When they started shooting, it saw them, and immediately they started going towards them.
The drone seemed almost alive, following movement, tracking panic. Then,
Yes, one of the guys' head exploded. That was noisy, man. Noisy.
another drone swept in behind the first one.
The drone, the way it was coming, the explosion and the way it fell on that guy, that blast, it threw me very far.
Everything went dark.
I can remember waking up and trying to think, am I dead? Or where are my friends?
When Charles opened his eyes, the forest had gone quiet again. His hand was broken, the men around him were dead, and the drone was gone. Charles would eventually make it out, back to Moscow and then home to Kenya. But by then, people tracking Russia's recruitment networks had started hearing versions of this story over and over again.
This disturbing video appears to show an African recruit in the Russian army with a landmine strapped to his chest. He is being ordered to storm Ukrainian positions on the front lines.
The names were different, the countries were different, but the pattern kept repeating. An online job ad, a recruiter who answered quickly, a contract written in a language they didn't understand. And then suddenly they weren't chasing opportunity anymore. They were being pulled into someone else's war. Dennis Munyu is a research fellow at the Global Center for Policy and Strategy in Nairobi, and he's been watching the exodus.
There are over 1,000 Kenyans who have been recruited into the Russia-Ukraine war. They are increasingly being targeted because they represent a large pool of economically vulnerable and under-regulated labor.
They're all young men answering online job ads for work in Russia. Construction jobs, security jobs, drone jobs. The offers spread through TikTok, WhatsApp, and Telegram. Sometimes through influencers showing off life in Moscow. Sometimes through local employment agencies.
With the local agency, it's very easy for you to trust it, and it has built credibility among the Kenyan people.
And that's part of what makes this work. The internet isn't just connecting strangers anymore. It's making distant people feel familiar. Russia's military has been under enormous strain since the invasion of Ukraine. Heavy losses, a grinding war, and a constant need for more soldiers. So researchers say the Kremlin and networks operating around it widened the search, looking farther and farther afield for recruits, especially in places where stable work can be hard to find. And online, those vulnerabilities travel fast, with a message, a repost, a recruiter who answers quickly and sounds like he believes in you. And suddenly, a job offer from thousands of miles away doesn't feel distant at all. It feels strangely intimate. Just ask Charles. Now, he says, he wishes he'd listened to his son after that job offer came through. So now Charles is trying to warn other people before they make the same mistake he did.
Any person who's thinking to go to Russia, he need to sit and rethink, because if you don't know what is there, you should not even dare.
This is Click Here. Here's what you need to know about the tech world this week. It's Tuesday, June 2nd.
This is a major development. It is the first time the majority of Iranians can be back online.
Iran's internet is flickering back to life. After months of near total blackouts imposed by the government, connectivity started returning last week, albeit slowly. For ordinary Iranians, the shutdown meant silence. Families cut off from relatives abroad, videos unable to leave the country, outside news unable to get in. Now, some fixed-line internet providers are coming back online, though mobile networks, the way most Iranians actually access the internet, are still largely down. According to news reports, the order to reconnect came directly from Iran's president, but the move has exposed division inside the government after hardliners challenged the decision in court. So, for now at least, Iranians are back online. The question is, for how long? The Trump administration is preparing to invest in drones.
Our government is sort of morphing into a private equity firm, it seems, because they keep finding sectors they want to invest in. And the latest is drones.
The administration is pursuing funding deals with several drone companies, including Performance Drone Works and Unusual Machines, a company backed by Donald Trump Jr. The deals are part of a broader push to rapidly expand domestic drone manufacturing. Right now, the U.S. produces about 100,000 drones a year. Ukraine is producing millions. And Washington increasingly sees cheap drones not as a sideshow, but as central to the future of warfare. The funding would come through the Pentagon's Office of Strategic Capital, an office originally created under President Biden to strengthen critical supply chains. Now, under Trump, that effort is expanding beyond semiconductors, beyond minerals, and deeper into direct government investment in private industry. Drone stocks surged after the news of the talks broke. Rideshare drivers in Massachusetts are making labor history.
Uber has been taking advantage of all the drivers. The gas prices have been going way up.
70,000 Uber and Lyft drivers have become the first rideshare workers in the country to unionize. The effort has been building for years. Back in 2024, Massachusetts voters approved a ballot measure allowing app-based drivers to organize and bargain collectively. Now, organizers say the fight is moving beyond Massachusetts. Drivers are pushing for more predictable pay, more transparency around fees, and protections in an economy increasingly run by apps. Campaigns modeled on the Massachusetts effort are already taking shape in states like California and Illinois. And finally, Pope Leo XIV is taking aim at artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening.
In his first major encyclical called Magnificat Humanitas, or Magnificent Humanity, the Pope warned that AI could deepen inequality, hollow out the middle class, and place human dignity at risk. He called on governments to regulate the technology and urged companies not to sacrifice workers in pursuit of efficiency and profit. But the message wasn't entirely anti-tech. Pope Leo described AI as a powerful human achievement, a tool capable of doing good. Still, he argued, humanity should remain at the center of its development. The Vatican unveiled the document alongside Anthropic co-founder Christopher Olah, a symbolic attempt to open dialogue between Silicon Valley and the Church. Now the question is whether Silicon Valley is listening. Click Here is a production of Recorded Future News and PRX. Today's show was written and produced by Megan Dietrich, Sean Powers, Erica Gaida, Zach Hirsch, and Casey Georgie. It was edited by Karen Duffin and Sarah Quevedo, and fact-checked by Darren Ankrum. Original music is by Ben Levingston, with additional music from Blue Dot Sessions. Our staff writer is Lucas Riley, our illustrator is Megan Goff, and our sound designers and engineers are Jake Cook and Jesse Neiswanger. I'm Dina Temple-Raston. Thanks for listening.